We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy.
We've got an all-star lineup for you today. Welcome back, my old mate and good friend. He's there. He's smiling away. It wasn't you, Paul. It was Mark Adams. Happy birthday yesterday.
Hey, cheers, Nick. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I'm there. Can I just...
Mark, congratulations.
No, I'm not 50. Can I just say I'm 47?
Oh, yeah, you look a lot older.
You clip Richard, you.
No, it's you're half a century, so there's no need to hide it.
Yeah, and greetings to the one I think is a great Courtney.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a birthday.
Welcome back. Long time since we spoke. Paul Hipkiss. And all the way from Texas in the United States of America, Mark Meredith.
Evening, guys.
And we got Chris Brown.
Good evening.
And myself, and a big welcome to Paul Hipkiss' doppelganger, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. David Taylor.
In the bar.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for inviting me onto the show. Much appreciated.
No bother at all. No bother. It's all right. We'll send you the invoice. Now, win. We had a win Saturday. But a win. Who was there?
Yep.
Mark? Great.
Yeah.
No. Paul? No.
Yep.
COVID?
We were all there.
Dave?
I was in Glasgow watching the Mighty Rangers.
Oh.
No, I've just got over COVID, Nick. So I was still slightly positive on Saturday morning, so I didn't go.
Oh, well, I can only commend you for that, Paul, to be honest with you. And Mark, your take on the game first, and then straight into Craig.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought it was simply the best performance in weeks. Probably best since the Albion game, I would say. We just absolutely dominated. It's a bit of a cliche, but why couldn't we play like that a bit more often, and we'd be looking at the top 10? I don't think anybody had a bad game, really. I thought Ruddy was outstanding. Oh, Nick's had enough. I think Ruddy just, despite his age, what a signing. The amount of points he's won us this season.
Crikey, yeah.
Some of those saves were stunning.
12 clean sheets.
12 clean sheets in a team that's 16th. It's mental.
I'm going to be a broken record again, but you do have to wonder where we would be now if you'd have played this formation all season.
I know.
This 4-2-3-1, this 4-2-3-1 with Djukovic on his own, with the speed demons just behind him playing off him, he's working a treat.
It suits us down to the ground, doesn't it? It really does. I'd just like to say, just hope we go on a nice unbeaten run now, finish the season strongly. And who knows, people like Trusty, who people are saying, oh, we won't stay and all the rest of it. Maybe there'll be something there to make him stop and think, hang on, I love it here. Yeah, maybe I will stay for another season. So, yeah.
I think he's worth at least 5 million.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
But then again, I thought Chong was worth more than what we signed him for. So
yeah, you never know, do you?
You never know. No.
But no, really, really chuffed, really happy on Saturday, and it's nice to come out smiling again.
Yeah.
My oldest lad said to me, he says, Dad, he says, this is how we should play. This is it. This is a Birmingham City team. And I was watching, the stats. We had 23% possession. Take that in, 23% possession.
I couldn't quite understand
and people are saying we performed well.
Yeah.
Well, I can only go by the champion, the EFL were printing out, Mark. 23%. If I'm wrong, well...
No, you're right. I thought it was 20.
Yeah, it just didn't seem right. Yeah. We dominated that first half. We should have scored 2 or 3, to be fair. It should have been over half-time.
Yeah. I mean, if you go down with possession again, and sitting in their own half and knocking the ball across them their own defence, then they did have all the play. But they didn't.
Craig, I promise you, possession isn't a stat I ever look at, right? But I was thinking to myself, and I'm watching the Twitter feeds, and people were saying, we're playing out of skins. This is how we should play every week. And then I'm sitting work thinking, 23%, we're going to be in trouble here.
It was a typical Birmingham City performance. In fact, arguably, the past 3 games, we've had the same thing. And I think, Paul, you've nailed it. The formation, as soon as everybody saw that formation on Saturday, and despite the fact that Blackburn were on, half decent run, you still fancied your chance. And it was nice to go into the ground, not only feeling positive, but thinking, we can get something out of this. First 5-10 minutes, it was like, oh, okay. they're pretty nifty coming forwards. But as soon as we settled and we cracked the left-hand side, because I think that did take a pummeling to start off with. As soon as we cracked that, we were in a great position going forwards and dangerous each time. Should easily have had a couple of more goals. I agree, Mark Ruddy was absolutely outstanding. And, to say your goalkeeper is in the running for man of the match when you've won a game, it doesn't happen, very often, because it tends to put him in the picture of just stopping everything from happening. But there was him, and huge shout out to George Hall.
Oh, that was his best game, I think. Best game for Blues. Yeah.
Welcome back, George.
Him and Duke. Djukovic, to me, again, he's able to run in the team. Everybody's like, he hasn't got the legs the last 45 minutes, let alone 90. Oh, God, that guy's a workhorse. He's unbelievable. He just keeps going and going and going, and I swear.
He reminds me of a Jeff Horsfield.
He'd still be going there.
Yeah, he reminds me of a Jeff Horsfield.
Yeah.
Similar in terms of the way that they set up, but I just think he was just well, I can't single out anybody. I think the whole team were outstanding.
Yeah.
I think with Robertson and Roberts at the back with Long as well, that's a good partnership, isn't it? They seem pretty solid. They played two games, and obviously we ain't conceded in either of them games. So, he doesn't need to change anything, does he now, in the next game again? I'll just stick to the same 11.
Yeah.
Next game's Stoke at home Easter Monday, isn't it, Paul?
No, we got Reading away.
Reading away.
Reading away, yes, of course we have. Yeah. Right, next home game then. Stoke at home. Now, I've had all sorts of predictions going on around here.
Yeah. I think Chad and Bielik have got a good partnership going as well in front of Long, and we've got a solid foundation. It's a solid 11. There's loads of pace going forward with the free speed merchants beyond Djukovic, and there's a good solid foundation at the back now as well, and we've got a good height in the defence as well, haven't we? We trust it left back as well. We could be onto something here. It's between now and the end of the season and start to sort of climb up above even 14th. Who knows?
Yeah.
Mark, did you watch it on TV?
I did, yeah, and I'm in agreement with you guys. I think it was a great performance throughout, and I think the three players that we picked out are definitely the ones that outshone. For me, Duke is what we want as a Blues player. Every game he goes out there, he plays for the badge, he gives it. He's getting on a little bit, and people are on his back at times, but it constantly, week in, week out, just has that hard work and that performance and fight. George Hall, outstanding. Great to see someone young, but my worry is with him now. And I suppose it can be a positive in a way and a negative as well, but I think it's just how much we can get for him at this rate. I think the more better games he has till the end of the season may up his transfer a little bit more, but I just don't see us keeping him, and I hate to say that because obviously you want to try and keep your best players, but I think it's just getting to the stage now where he knows he's going to be gone next year. He wants a Premier League spot, and it's just how much we can get from him now to help us moving forward.
Yeah. Bo's getting a bit agitated. She's coming for a weekly performance, ladies and gentlemen, but she's going to scratch my face any seconds. I'm putting it out.
Bingo. George Hall reminds me, actually, very much of what Nathan Redmond was like when he first broke into the team, and how he had his opportunities, and when he has really had, started and had a foundation, he's then built from that. I really hope we offer him another contract, even if it's short term, just something to tie him down.
Yeah,
he's another player that, for me, he's broke in now. If you give him a whole season playing in the squad, he'll treble, if not quadruple, his value. It comes down to finance.
Just on that one with Nathan, I don't know if you guys seen it yesterday, but he played the Turkish derby. He came on second half, and they were got 10 men, and he scored one. He scored one and assisted three in a 4-2 away win. So it's good to see that. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Craig. It's the same type of player, confidence players, and these young. I've been working with youth players now for 20 years, and it's great to see those players step in and get comfortable. And I think it can go either way. I just think that in the financial problems that we're in as a club, I just think now the owners see these type of players, the Bellinghams and those that as players to bring money back into the club instead of trying to invest a little bit more into them. So I wouldn't expect him to stay. If as a fan, I would love him to stay, but I just think the way our model is right now, I just think that if you can get 6-7 million for him, then they're going to probably take it and try to use that then to boost something into next year. Trying to buy people like Sanderson and those type of players that have got more chance of staying.
Yeah, Mark, just while you're just talking about Bellingham, there's a question here from Dave Twine. He says, do you think it's time to try Hall, James and Bellingham for a half?
I think, for me, you've got to be safe first. I think we talked about this in a shows months ago, that putting the pressure on those young kids too early can be a problem. Not saying that we're not safe, because I really do think now that we probably are safe in the league definitely after Saturday's result, but I would love to see it going on to the last 3 or 4 games of the season. We can go out there with no pressure, knowing we're not going down. I'd love to start seeing those players play, because I think that's certainly the future of the club right now. And again, if we are going to put them in the shop window to make money for the club, then you've got to play them. Scouts and people like that are coming to games to see those guys play in 90 minutes and seeing how they can really fit into not even championship football, but football in general.
Dave Taylor up there in the top right-hand corner. Why did you go and watch the Mighty Rangers?
Is Rangers fan?
Two reasons. A to sort of touch base with a number of colleagues and friends up there. Second one is I made the conscious decision at the end of last season not to renew my season tickets and not to do home games this season.
Right, okay.
As a protest, albeit a small protest, and refusing to give the owners any more money.
Right, I understand that. I really genuinely understand what you've just said there, mate. I promise you.
But I mean, as it, fate would have it anyway. With my little incident in France, I shouldn't be attending any football, but. I've never really been one to do what I'm being told. So I've been to, I think, 4.
We've only got to look at your environment tonight. I mean, you got palm trees behind it.
Semi-council at its best. That is not fabricated in any stretch. That's my back window onto my.
It looks like Chardin, actually. Yeah.
It's been raining a lot in England.
Where is it? Smallies?
Yeah, they're puddles.
We must mention the very sad news of that young lad who was playing a game of football at school and sadly passed away over the last few days. Can't remember what his name was at the moment, but wow.
It's not been a few good weeks, has it? Really? I mean,
no.
Craig,
and of course, there was that young girl that got knocked down.
Young Sophie,
yeah, it was a nice tribute on Saturday as well.
Yeah, genuine thanks to everybody who joined in on the 15-minute applause for that one. But it's not been a good few weeks at all, has it?
No, Gary going as well. That was a big shock. That was.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
which one was that?
Gary Williams, who passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Give him a good send off as well at the start of before the game kicked off.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah. But if I may, Mark, I just want to come back on to youth players, and I was looking at the top level, the top 4, and there's only Rico Lewis at Man City that's broke into any of the 11s in the top 4 this season. So it's so much harder, isn't it, now at the top level for kids from academies to get into, when you go back 20 years ago to when you started, I guess there was a lot more at the top level than what there is now, isn't there?
Yeah, football's about money now, unfortunately, and the problem is now that these academies are bringing players out. Well, not just academies. Like at U21 now, U23, a lot of the players aren't homegrown anymore. A lot of players, they're spending millions of pounds to bring these foreign players in and stuff like that. So the homegrown players are being forgotten about a little bit, and it's getting that. It's tougher now to get from your 2-year scholarship when you're 16 to 18 to get a pro deal, and even in your first year pro, you're probably only going to see the field occasionally. So what you'll notice is those top 4 or 5 Premier League teams, they'll have 20, 25 academy players that would get into any team and that's what you're seeing is that you get loaned out and you're playing in either the lower leagues or some of them playing in the championship, and they're really, you know, and as Blues did when they brought Martin O'Connor back as like the scouting watch, like loan manager, they called him. A lot of teams have got them now, and that's how they look at their players. They loan them out. They play full 90 minutes at teams. It's a little bit like Charlie Savage now went out to obviously Forest Green from United, and you know it's that real communication between the loan manager and those players playing 90 minutes in a more physical environment, I think, of the lower leagues, just to see how they fit. But it's a shame because if you look at the England setup and you look how good we are at U17, 18, even 21 level, you know, the future for the England game is really, really good. Taking what we've got now and the results and that sort of thing, but they just don't get enough time, I don't think, in those environments until they're so-called proven players at a different level. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Jude's gone to Dortmund and completely lit it up, hasn't he? He's going to get a massive move, but
he will. I think he'll come back to the Premier League. I think, you know, that's his next thing. And if you spoke to him, he probably didn't want to leave England in the first place. You know, we know he's a Birmingham boy, but we also know that he's never going to be staying at Birmingham moving forward. You know, no disrespect to our club, but he was head and shoulders above what we have. And, you know, he got a great move. And to be fair to him, even in the England setup, you know, he lit the World Cup alight. You've seen him again against Italy in the National League. He's the best player on the field by far. And I think his brother will be, I don't know if his brother will be as good. And I don't think he will light it up as quick as what Jude did. But I think with a number of games under his belt and the right teaching and the right environment for him, I think you're going to see him go as well. You're going to see George Hall. You're going to see Jordan James. You're going to see, you know, Josh Andrews and all those youth players that we have. Because the crazy thing about it, I don't know how many people really look into the academy at Blues. There's some real good talent.
Oh, crikey.
Now, you know, we as a club now with no money should be going down to those players now and really trusting in them.
Absolutely,
bringing them into the environment quickly.
We've always had a good academy. They won't always.
We've done that a lot over the years, haven't we?
Yeah.
But we've always been known as an academy that builds players to sell somewhere else. And that's where the difficult thing is. Like, why now as a club don't we look at the model and go, you know what, we don't have the 5, 6, 7 millions to spend. Why not try to keep these boys a little bit longer? And I agree with Craig earlier. Give George Hall another contract. And to be fair there, George has got a whole nother year then playing championship football, which is only going to help him when he does finally get his move. So I just think that if you can get at least a year, 2 years out of these players at that level, I think that's great for us. And all it can do, if they are as good as Jude, all it's going to do is add to their transfer money at the end of it and make better money for us as a club.
I get that, Mark, but we've also got to keep that youth academy turning over. We've got to keep those players coming up from a very young age to the age where they can step up into the first team, where we, like you say, we can utilise them at least for a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. Yeah,
that was the biggest frustration, I think, when the others didn't invest into it.
And then financially, you know, make money on them.
I agree. I think that's the biggest frustration for everybody was that the owners of the club, and we all know, obviously, we've all got our own views on the owners, but the fact is, they didn't put the money into and invest the money in the right way with the academy, and that was why, you know, as you probably know, with the levels, that's why we had to drop from a category 1 academy down to like a category 2 or something, is because, you know, the FA and FIFA and everybody else wants to see these different investments happening to be in that category level. So I think it was difficult that, you know, to tell our academy boys that we're not going to be now category 1 academy was probably hard. And then what happens is, even at the young ages, you see these kids, you know, going off to other clubs, and it's tough because I've been there and I've seen kids, you know, walk off and go to Aston Villa down the road, go to Wolves, go to Albion, go to all that sort of stuff, you know, 30 minutes from where we are, and we should be able to keep these boys. And looking at it, you've got, if you talk to a parent, we've got a better opportunity here at Blues for those guys to play first team football than you have at Wolves, Villa, maybe not West Brom, because West Brom again are good with their academy, but You know, you've got to look at where your next step is. Once you turn 18 and you're going to get a pro contract, is this club going to look after you, or is it going to be just easy money to be sold somewhere else?
Craig, do you think at any junction we are going to get back to being a proper football club again? Because this has gone on now, is it 12 years, something like that, 11 years?
Well, it's going to take a lot of work. It's not, you know, even if new people come through the door tomorrow, it's not an overnight thing. You know, we've just seen the latest set of figures, and whilst everybody was shocked by the numbers and the loss, actually, you know, I sat there and I was thinking it's not a shock to me, because we are losing revenue because of the stadium. We've lost revenue.
The figures are frightening, though, Craig, aren't they? The figures are absolutely terrifying.
In a way, they are. But then I also look at the opposite side of it. So last year's figures were changed, and they were screwed because of the Bellingham money. So what I really would have loved to have seen is a comparison of last year to this year, you know, if the Bellingham money wasn't there. Now, when you look at the whole of the championship, and there was a great breakdown, in fact, that the Blues Trust did, nice and easy to read and flow through. And what they were saying was there's probably about 50%, if not more, in the championship that are making similar sorts of losses. Yeah. Whereas we're losing it to players' salaries, they're losing it on other angles. You know, West Brom are in serious trouble. To the point that, you know, if they don't get promoted, for example, this year, they could be looking at massive losses going into next year. I'm not going to say I'm not concerned, because I am. We are leaking money as though we're sieves. You know, simple as that. We're just leaking money. The interesting thing, though, was to see the declaring of the money from Maxco. The fact that they've acknowledged how much money's got to be put into the club to keep us running. And that, you know, whilst we all want new owners and we're all fighting for new owners, they're still funding us at the moment. So I can't knock them too much. You know, some updates that I can give to people as well. Right, the stadium is on track to start work at the end of the season. So again, we see loads of rumours.
Can I just, sorry, I really don't want to interrupt. Can I just quickly go back to that? And when are we expected to have that reopened? So at least we've got a stadium that we can be proud of once again.
Fully.
I think it's fair to say we're not going to have the whole stadium open at the beginning of next season.
Okay.
But I would hope that we can have the bottom half of the Tilton done and work our way into the COP, and then throughout the season finish that piece off.
I would love to know, Craig, what work is left to be done.
They've got to put so it's all new foundations here to go into the Tilton. But obviously the other thing is the fact that overwhelmingly people voted for safe seating or safe standing, sorry.
Yeah.
So that will be the bottom half of the Tilton moving into next season. And I think that will make a massive difference, you know, and people who have been out of those spots can go back, and it's not as though safe standing doesn't mean you can't sit down if somebody in front of you is standing, because you can. So, you know, all of that is positive and is moving forwards. We're also tomorrow, myself and Cliff from the Blues Trust are attending our second meeting at St Andrews with Ian Dutton, Jake Melbasser, and some of the marketing team around the forming of the Fans Advisory Board. So we discussed this as part of the open letter to the club. It was also part of the government white paper around the reforming of football. And that's been taken very, very positively. There's still a lot of work to do. We're still at very early doors. But the thing for me was, in the first meeting, we were all on the same wavelength. We were all on that same line, which was, yeah, we want to get this done, and it's going to bring some good stuff to the club. So hopefully I can again bring you some more information as and when the meetings are held. But that's a positive. And then the other thing is just purely the fact, and I've got to say it now. I mean, sick and tired of, despite us being on this run, virtually being safe, still reading and seeing and hearing people talking about the fact that John Eustace is not good enough and he's got to go. And yesterday, to see that Potter was sacked by Chelsea and immediately Blues fans are calling for him to come to us. No, it's got to stop.
No.
The merry-go-round of management will cause more problems. And also, every time we sack somebody, we've got to pay them out. So it's more money that comes out of the pockets. So, hey, that guy working on a shoestring has worked miracles this season.
Sorry, Craig. To pass the number of points that we got last season, haven't we? 7 games to spare.
Yeah.
We've passed the number of points, playing better football. And I think the other thing is the fact that I've got to say, in the Tilton on Saturday, right, the humour was back, and it's something we've been missing. And it was nice to hear the fans actually cracking into and getting back to that brummy humour that we all love. And that's part of that feel-good factor. It's because we're on that streak of wins. Let's just go until the end of the season. I agree with playing the kids, right? Once we're safe, give them a crack. See what John's got to play with next season. Alfie Chang, let's get him signed up. Let's get another contract off to him because he's been phenomenal since he's come in.
If that's the question. If you could only have, because I don't like falling in love too much with loan players, mate. You know, and like I said on the chat, it's a bit like falling in love with a stripper, isn't it? You know what I mean?
We've all been there for.
I do love Rusty Bender.
Please,
Mark's still is.
People's wives are watching, buddy. We got to be careful.
All right.
And yeah, so if you could only have Trusty or Cadra permanently next season, which one would you have?
Oh, what permanent?
Trusty.
I think I'm Trusty.
Permanent, I'd take Trusty.
Trusty.
I'd take Cadra back on loan, but I'd have Trusty permanent.
Trusty, yeah, we just about, you know. But I mean, in the
question, by the way, horrible question.
it's I mean, it's a tough one, but I think Trusty for me just edges it. And obviously, when Bielik's on form, you know, we're a good team as well. He makes a big difference when he's at it.
Do we?
Sorry, I missed this one earlier, guys. Could we just wish Claire Giblin a safe trip in Poland? Enjoy your time over there. Take everything in, girl. Take everything in when you go to those camps, because, like, wow.
And just to reiterate, Claire and Alan have not been sacked. I know there was a double sacking in the Premier, but no, they haven't been sacked.
Unfortunately, been replaced by Mark and Paul. Right?
Claire's gone off to Poland to visit Auschwitz and Birkenau. I took Sharon a few years ago. My goodness me! If you ever think that you need to go there, please do it. Do not lose an opportunity to do something like that, because every time I talk about it, that's exactly what happens to my arm.
And
right?
Alan,
anyway,
Alan's
gone
off to see the
Beatles. We haven't had a good chat with David yet. Chris?
So David's... you had a bit of a year last year, didn't you, David? Maybe you could tell us all about it.
Didn't really want it to be about me tonight, but we'll.
That's a great story.
We'll move on then.
Well, yeah, you can do if you wish. That would suit me, but
from the beginning.
A few things to talk about. We'll start off with my story. So, for a number of years, we do quite a bit of charity work, both with Central Blues Away Travel, which is the sort of group I'm here to represent tonight, locally, but also on my own. I support the ABF, the Army Benevolent Fund, and how I do that is I go and do their walks through the battlefields in France, both Normandy and the Western Front. I think I've got 6 or 7 on the scorecard at the moment. So last October, doing the sort of latest one in Normandy, day one, felt as fit as a butcher's dog. Got to Pegasus Bridge for morning break. Had break, set off. 10 minutes down the road, I end up on my back, having suffered a severe cardiac arrest. I actually passed away, thankfully, because an army doctor and an army medic were on hand. They managed to get me back. Spent a month in hospital in Caen where I had a double bypass operation. And first point for me, thanks to you guys. Chris sent me a link every Monday to sort of jump on, and you guys kept me in touch with what's happening. Just to keep it bluesy as well, most of the lads have threatened to send me back to a hospital in Caen because while I was there, it was the best run we've had probably for about 12 years. We've not been quite so effective since I've been back, but there we go. And again, the football crowd in general keep me going. I mean, some of the banter and some of the video footage I received, I can't go into this scene as we're not the other side of the watershed, but yeah, it was it kept me going. So it's been quite a traumatic time. Still struggling to come to terms with what I've been through and what I've put my loved ones through. But again, sort of the wider blues and football community and the IBF community have sort of kept me going and get me through the darkest times. And you know, we as we do, we're Brummies. We keep fighting. We keep right on. That's if anyone knows me, that's my main motto in life. Anyway, has been for a long time. It's also my registration on my car. And one of the things a lot of the guys did while they continued walking through Normandy was put that on the beaches, imprinted it into the beaches, and sent me photos of video footage. And what was a really nice touch in the second week, where they walked the Western Front, you visit the cemetery where Captain John is buried, that our famous song is written for. You know, Harry wrote the song for his son who was killed out in the trenches of the First World War. I've visited his cemetery and taken a wreath from blues fans before. Wow. And the lads attended the cemetery, found his grave, did a little reading and played Keep Right On, both for him and for me, which was a very nice touch. Wow. I'll share that with you guys one day because it's difficult to keep a dry eye when you watch it. So those guys, the Blues family, you guys, you kept me going through those dark days in France. I'm back here now, much against medical recommendations. I have started going to the odd football game. I think I've been to 4 away games now. Was at Watford the other week, but I struggled with a night game. It was a little bit too much for me. So unfortunately, Millwall's off the cards. But I think that would have been a tough accept for the missus to allow me to go down there. Albeit I know quite a few of the Millwall lads, and I'm sure I'd have been welcomed with open arms as we normally are down in South London, of course. But I'll be at Reading on Friday. And typical Blues. It was nice for me to hear you talk about the results on Saturday and how well they played, but we all know we're going to get beat 2-1 on Friday down at Reading because that's just what we do. And then we'll beat Stoke at home on Monday. Have been on a fantastic run. So, the football's keeping me going as always. Getting involved in a number of campaigns and events to sort of keep me sane and get my brain back to where it was. And if it's okay now, Chris, can I talk about those couple of things? Yeah, please do. So the first one is we've been running for a number of weeks now an Easter egg campaign, something we've done for the last 3 years. Again, Essential Blues away travel and in support of Diggity's or St Anne's, as people know it better. And again, it looks like this year we'll get to around about 500 eggs that we can distribute out to sort of children who wouldn't otherwise get an egg. Children in care, some from just families that are on hard times and just reach out to us and can't do that. Just a little note: I've spoken to Tony Routley's doing all of the running around that I would normally do this time of year to sort of make it happen. So. And Tony leads a very hectic life, but he's doing all of that. There's a number of places you can still drop eggs off to until lunchtime tomorrow. That's St Anne's itself, Diggerty's, the Roost Pub is taking them in, Gossip's Cafe in Acott's Green, and Chris's. You leave your one out, was that, Chris? Yeah. So those three locations. The other thing is if anyone has got eggs to donate but isn't mobile, if they get in touch with me or Tony, then we'll make arrangements to get them collected.
Fantastic.
That's the Easter egg campaign, sort of put to one side. And then the next one is something that we jumped on. It's a guy who comes on our coaches. He's very, very humble. He doesn't talk a lot about his son and the troubles he has and what he does. But I managed to find out his son, Alfie Ford. He's autistic. He's also got dyspraxia, which my middle son suffered from. Every April, to celebrate autism awareness, he takes it upon himself to set himself a daily challenge. Last year he did 10,000 steps a day. This April he's doing 15,000 steps a day. So I had a chat with his dad and said, look, it's great what he does. What about if we get on the back of it, support him? We want nothing for it other than the pleasure of helping a young lad out and a fantastic cause. His dad, who I've known for many years, was very supportive. I met Alfie and had a chat with him, and he loved the fact that raising awareness just by the fact that I found out and approached him. He'd achieved one of his first obstacles, so we had a chat. He's day 3 in. He's smashed a minimum of 18,000 steps each day so far. Yeah. We've collected quite a substantial list of prizes to do a raffle. Some of them, I've got him a signed blue shirt. My wife donated something from work. I had lying around a scooter helmet, quadrophenia one that I've never used, never going to use. Was always going to take a place in one of my bars, but never got used. So he's got that. The club have donated tickets for the last game of the season and also for next season. Tony's throwing something in from Central Blues Travel as well. So we've got some substantial prizes. But the other thing I came up with was on the 22nd of April, we play Blackpool at home, last but one home game. So we've prized the doors open to Blues, leaned on sort of contacts we've got. So I met with Jake and Davo last week and put the finishing touches to it. So on the 22nd, myself, Alfie and his dad are going to arrive at the ground quite early, be interviewed by Davo, have a little piece put. Then we're going to set off on a walk. We're going to do a 10K loop around Birmingham. Volunteers from Central Blues away travel are going to be at different points. I intended to do the whole walk. I actually intended to do 15,000 steps with Alfie every day, but unfortunately I'm not in a position where I can do that. And I was threatened with losing both legs if I tried to do the 10K from the other guys in the Central Blues travel. So we'll do a bit of a tag team around. We're going to head off to Edgbaston. I'm desperately trying to get response from Edgbaston for someone there to try and greet us there, do something for us. There's not a game on at the moment, so we're waiting to hear from them. We've reached out to all the media contacts that we know. Reached out to the local MP, to Kid Batty, who's taken Alfie under his wings to see if he can do anything to support, and fellow Blue Noses who have business interests in Birmingham and that, to see if they can offer support. So we're going to go St Andrews, Edgbaston, New Street, and then from New Street back to St Andrews through Digbeth. We'll do bucket collection along the way. And then when we get back to St Andrews, hopefully around about 2:45, we're gonna enter the ground from the old main stand, sort of tunnel area. They're going to do a quick interview with Alfie. Then we're going to walk him around the pitch and let the crowd sort of pay their appreciation to this fine young man. They're going to get him up on the screen. The club are looking at other ways they can sort of do something to reward Alfie for his efforts as well. There is a GoFundMe page, and our guys, if I can send that to you later, and if you can put that out, really appreciate it. But the underlying message is, we're all about doing anything we can to support our own, raising cash for deserving causes, looking after our own and their families when sadly we lose anyone, and we've lost quite a few over the last few years, and we've got a couple of those ongoing at the moment. And giving Blues fans the opportunity, for me, what I wholly believe in, and I'm sure you guys are in the same, just keep proving what we all know, they're the best fans in the country. And actually, you know what, from working together, we don't have to achieve a hell of a lot. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep trying to spread happiness and love amongst the Blues family, and raising funds that we can support these deserving causes. I've made it sort of a bit of a mission, and a bit of giving me some reason for still being here and carrying on. So there'll be a lot more to come, but those are two that we've got on at the moment that are really close to our heart, and we want to do everything we can to support as much as possible. So I really appreciate the time you've given me today.
I don't know about anybody else, David, but you just melted me into the ground, mate. I promise you. Wow. Now, listen, David, you said something halfway through that, and I picked up on it. And it was what you'd put your family through. Do you know what? Your family have been the biggest support network for you. Yeah, for you personally. We can only do a little bit what we do on a Monday night and throughout the course of the week when people post on the Facebook page and one thing and another. But the most important person in all of this is yourself, my friend, is yourself. And if you can't do it, don't do it. Yeah. But don't do it with pride in your heart that you're doing other things. And some of the things you just said on there, man, well, I'm there, and I never stood up. There you are.
Blew me away.
David, for me, you are not only a legend, but a hero. I promise you, mate. Keep up the good work. Do not do too much. Reach out to any of us here or any of the other Blue Noses around to give you any assistance that you need to get this going. Unfortunately, I live 50 odd miles away. I'm limited as to what I can do, but I have a compassion and a voice which can inspire people to do things. And you, sir, I promise you tonight, have inspired me. Oh, wow, what a story.
Craig, that story lit up the chat box. Did it not?
It did indeed. So much love and best wishes coming in on the board throughout. You've got Tony Rackley himself's actually tuned in, so evening Tony, and he's like top man Dave. Paul Hanson, 100% respect, David. David's story is worth listening to. You must all listen, take notes. Get it out there, Dave, from Kevin Burgess. But also I would say, from our side of things, pass on the details of the GoFundMe page. Also, any support and things that as Nick's mentioned, we can offer to
anything
walk and stuff. I'd also like to see, and David, I don't know whether it's possible or not, but we'd love to get the young chap on the show. He could tell us about what's going on if he fancied it. And I know it can be tough, but even if it's for a short period of time, we'd love to have him on.
Yeah. He's a confident enough guy. He did a piece for, is it GB UK News or something? I don't really know much about them. And he just blew me away. I mean, to listen to the young man with the courage that he's got and the determination to sort of challenge and change the attitude towards autism, it's inspirational.
David, really. When's the Easter egg event?
Easter egg event
Easter.
closes lunchtime tomorrow, and it has a drop dead date of next Sunday. So,
Okay, so it is Easter next Sunday. I don't think we're doing a show on the Monday, are we, Chris?
Pardon?
Bank holiday Monday.
We're playing against Stoke, aren't we?
Stoke on that day as well.
Of course we are.
No
Yeah.
show there.
Shall we come? Shall we come up and do one Tuesday? Is that possible?
I do another show on a Tuesday, so
okay, no bother.
No worries. I'll get something sorted. And
all right, okay, but let's really get this young man involved in putting the word out, because it's just inspirational. It's like proper. Wow.
Yeah. Two things. Just a thank you to all the Tilton Talk viewers that have dropped eggs round to my unit, and also the one thing that has amazed me is that Tony Routley knows how to use a computer.
He doesn't. His kids are using it for him, I believe.
He's got voice control.
Wow, David is an amazing story, a proper amazing story.
Fantastic.
Sorry, Nick. Dave, your story, mate, got me thinking of one of our ex-players as well, Fabrice Mwamba.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
And I think he's just celebrated, actually. Well, so celebrated, but he noted the other day in one of his posts the period of time it's been since and actually, David, I should ask, how are you now? Because I've got to say, you're looking really well, but in general, how are you?
Generally, I'm good. They're really pleased with my recovery. Mentally, if I'm perfectly honest, I struggle. It's been a tough month through March, but I'm still here, and the guys keep me going, and the banter and the stick is what you need to get you through the tough times. So, but
mentally, then, Dave, is there anything we and the people listening here can do for you?
Just, you know what, the one thing is and this, to people who really know me, just treat me like nothing's happened.
Yeah.
There's
times
when you really want to
face tonight.
Yeah, there's times when you want to talk about it, obviously. And as I said to someone earlier today, I'll certainly make a few beers out of it over the years. You know, when the time suits, never miss an opportunity.
No,
but just being treated like nothing's happened. But just to touch on what you just said, you do count the days. Thursday's 6 months for me, and it's going to be my emotions have been switched off. Anyone that knew me beforehand, I'm a very emotional guy, and I always say physically you can do anything to me. I'm tough as old boots, like us probably are, but emotionally, I used to cry at the Andrex advert. You know, I'm a big wuss.
I'm with you, mate. I do it myself.
My emotions have been switched off. It's been explained, your body and mind go into protection mode. But this past couple of weeks, I've felt as emotional as I have done since it's happened. And as we approach 6 months, I'm finding it tough. I've put the finishing touches to visiting France again in October. I'm going to go back to the hospital. I'm going to go back to Pegasus Bridge. I'm going to go and find a location. There'll be a big hole from where I hit the ground, and just stick my two fingers up to it, and I'm still here. And
what a brummy! That's a blue nose.
And go and be there when the current crop of guys walk across the line of both walks. I'll be there to greet them.
I drove down, Dave, to Remniak. Don't know whether you know where that is. Through Cairn, over the bridges, and the first thing I noticed, and I never thought the French were like this. Welcome to our liberators, a huge sign. Welcome to our liberators. Do you know, massive... you've been ex-forces yourself, Dave, aren't you?
I'm not actually.
No, okay.
Granddad's.
My other half has just come in there. I mean, if you want to feel sorry for yourself, I'll show you a face in a minute. Blimey, crikey.
No, I don't.
And I drove down and I saw a sign, Normandy Beach is 4 kilometres. And you know what? I did the most stupid thing ever. I never turned up. I am genuinely kicking myself.
You mentioned about Claire going off on it. I saw that earlier about Claire going off to Krakow and dropped her a note because that is inspirational. And I took my wife a few years ago, and I was like, I'll be okay because I know I've read about it all my life.
You won't, mate.
Involved in it, and then when you get there, it's like wow. And I have a firm belief that all of our young people should have a visit to Normandy, to the Western Front, and to one of the concentration camps.
15-year-olds in this country should be paid for by the British government to go and see those gates and walk through them and find out exactly what happened there, because I tell you what, it is completely and utterly life-changing. Your attitude towards the human race changes when you come back from there, and it really, really does.
Craig, you wanted to come in just? I missed it, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, Dave, as you're speaking, there's so much love on the message board, and if you get a chance to
take it over,
to re-look afterwards, please do. But we've got everybody, got KRO Dave from Bradley Baker, Dave Twine, KRO Dave, well done Dave, KRO Dave, KRO Topman Dave. And then we've got this random one which is stuck in the middle from a certain Anthony Routley. Apparently, he also has feelings. So not only does he know his computer, he's got feelings.
For Dave?
But also, there's a lot that's being said, and Lilypad, she's a constant listener to the show. As said, listening to everybody else's stories has really touched their heart and soul. To say I have goosebumps is an understatement. Without Tilton Talk, Excessive Blues, etc., and listening and talking about mental health, it has done nothing but help me and others. Being a blue nose, asked how things are every now and again is appreciated by everyone. So I think it's that extra little bit really does resonate with a lot of people.
Paul, we did a little competition last week.
We did indeed.
We've got a new trio this week, haven't we?
We have indeed. So, yeah. So last week I introduced, obviously with my amazing return and all that, and it was great to be back.
Did you have bugles and 12-bore shotguns going up and everything?
Yeah. I thought I can't come back without a game to play, can I? Or getting people's minds going. So last week we had Kevin Phillips, Mikael Forsell or Christophe Dugarry start sub-cell. This week we've got Sebastian Larson, Jermaine Pennant or John McCarthy.
To do what?
Start sub-cell.
Start sub-cell. So you're going to start one, sub one and sell one. Then Larson, Jermaine Pennant.
Right, to me, Pennant to be sold.
Really?
Yeah. Who were the other two?
Seb Larson and John McCarthy.
What's made you decide Pennant will be sold if you don't know who the other two are?
Seb Larson. Well,
sell them all.
Seb Larson, I'd definitely keep Seb Larson, and I'd substitute the other one. Can't remember his name already.
John McCarthy.
I can't help it. I've got a problem.
I know, yeah, but I haven't seen it yet. Is she in the background? Oh.
You know what? I'd do that. I'd do that as well. I'd have Larson start, Macca on the bench, and I'd probably sell Pennant.
Pennant was good.
I've changed my mind, right?
Hey, I like Pennant. Yeah, I like
I've changed my mind. I'd sell Nick Spall, right? I'd sub Mark Adams.
Actually, we'll do that next week.
Yeah.
Nice
to be loved, Dave, isn't it?
Nice
to be
Absolutely.
Reckon, Dave, what are you saying, Dave?
I straight away as you read the names out, Larson starts all day for me. I love Macca, so I'm having him on the bench. And as much as I did enjoy Pennant, I thought he did he never let us down. He'd be the obvious one that you'd sell.
You think?
Okay,
I just think that obviously Pennant was at Prem level, wasn't he? And obviously so was Seb. But John McCarthy.
I just think it comes down to reliability. I trust the other two. I wouldn't necessarily always trust Pennant. So.
What was that? Was that to sell your car or what?
Do anything.
Allegedly.
I agree with you, Dave, as well. I think the Pennant when he was there was awesome, but when you take the other two, they were not just there for a short period, and they didn't just give it in a few games. They were constant. It's a tough decision between McCarthy and Larson, though.
Yeah, it is.
as much as I'm saying I'd have Larson there, there's still part of me that would say Macca any day of the week. I mean, there aren't many players that can come out and play like he did. And didn't he play one game with a broken leg?
Yeah.
But they were just great times when he was playing, weren't they, as well? You know,
it was just a graze.
When Penn and Larson were playing as well, it was good times. But I don't know.
See, Pennant for me, Paul, got a bit like lopsided. You know, he was a bit kind of like on his right leg. You know what I mean? It was a bit.
Yeah.
Paul, people are saying it's a bit too easy this week. I think you need to pick a
game.
Yeah, a bit too easy.
I'd sell all three and buy Trusty.
Yeah.
Right, Paul, are you joining us next week, Mr. H?
Good show, Mark. I'm not sure. It depends if I'm selected.
Well, if you're selected, you're selected.
Yeah, there is a selection process.
Competition now, man.
And everybody's in it.
Hang on a minute. We're not doing it next week. We've got Stoke, haven't we, at home?
Don't tell Nick.
But Claire's back, so it's out of me and Paul then. It's a selection problem.
We've got to start one and sub one, Mark.
Yeah, seriously. With my legs are sub me, mate.
We've almost actually got a team now, haven't we? We're ain't far off a team.
Oh, yeah, there's 7 of us. We only need another 4.
Which position would you play?
Paul on the shape box. Everybody virtually in line with
all of us, Craig, right? What position would you play?
I've got to be on the bench.
You're left back on the bench, yeah?
I used to play up front, to be honest.
Yeah, I was a bit of a winger.
No, it's a winger.
I've seen Mark play football. So, Mr. Adams, I know you know striker, mate. Yeah, it's terrible.
I've seen Craig play football.
I'm the orthodox centre half. I would never see. Craig.
Paul McCarthy's gone start Seb, sub McCarthy, sell Pennant. Michael's gone start Larson, bench Macca, and sell Jermaine.
Everyone's going the same, aren't they? Do you know what's amazed me though, guys? Tonight is that I got it right.
Well done. Lily said sell Pennant, sub McCarthy, start Larson. Nigel Mann said sell Savage, start Horsfield, and sub Redmond. I think that would be Nick's.
Squad game as well. We've got squad game as well this week.
We can do squad game, yeah. This is the question, Mr. Taylor. Are you up for taking on your doppelganger?
That'd be an interesting one, yeah.
Oh, don't know about that.
Dave, if I was you, I'd lose connection now, mate. I promise you.
You've only got to beat one. You've only got to get one right to go.
It's all of us against Paul tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, should we do that?
It's like blockbusters.
Come on, Icky. Take us all on, kid. Come on.
I don't think I can take the pressure. Sorry, guys.
Come on, Dave. You can do it.
Fine.
I tell you what, just for a laugh, shall we all take on Paul Ipkiss?
Yes, I think we should.
I'll be back in about half a minute.
You're going to be talking over each other.
Okay.
We'll pick
unless
3
you have one go each. Unless you go round in order and have
one go each. That would be a good.
Yeah, we'll have one go each.
One go each.
Come on, Craig. Give us a good one.
I've got to get more than 5. Then haven't I? Of one.
Quick before Nick comes back.
So the first one then, and Mr. Hipkiss, do you want to go first or second?
Where's the coin? I'll go tails.
Hang on then. I'll flick it. What do you say, Paul?
Tails.
He wants tails.
It's tails, yeah.
I'll go second.
Go second. Okie dokie. So for those that are going first, and obviously for the reason I've got the team in front of me, I can't join him.
Nick's
run off already. So the team is 2015, 2016.
Oof.
So how many players can you name for the 2015-2016 squad?
So which way are we going to go, Craig? And then we'll have to start a timer, don't we?
We do, and our time as well. And I reckon we should start with Mr. Meredith first, then to Mr. Adams.
Come on, no, it'd be me first.
To Mr. Taylor.
Let's just
and then finally we'll go to Nick.
Okay. You need to repeat the question though, because Nick didn't hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. The incontinence got the better of me.
So Nick, the squad is 2015 to 2016. The order we're going to do it: Mr. Meredith first, Mr. Adams second, Chris third, David fourth, and Nick, you are last on the list. So
thank God for that.
Why do I have to go first?
2:15, 2:16.
2:15, 2:16, and we are starting now.
Oh, Jonathan Grounds.
Robert Tesh.
Pass.
Is it me?
It is.
Yeah.
Long shot, Damari Gray.
Yeah.
Paul Robinson.
Mitch Hancock.
I thought Paul was supposed to answer after every one of ours.
Oh, no, come on, Nick, it's your turn.
Oh, no,
Seconds
don't
left.
do this to me. Oh,
Just say-
crying out loud.
Just say David Davis.
Roger Hind.
Oh, God, that was mine.
Mr. Meredith.
I knew I'd let the side down. I can't help it.
Fabrini, Diego Fabrini, is it?
I'm going to go for.
10 seconds.
Lean over.
Kobe
Lean
Arthur.
over.
Kobe Arthur.
Clifton Belt.
Kobe Arthur.
Yeah, Nova.
Lee Camp.
Hancock.
Michael Morrison. Morrison.
Right, we're done.
Okay.
And I can tell you got 7.
David Edgar.
7. That's pretty poor, really,
7.
isn't it? That's pretty.
You got it
poor.
googled there, at your mark.
Right, Paul.
Oh, no,
yours is 1893 to 1894.
No
Yeah.
problem.
No problem. I love it.
Right then.
So, Paul, yours is 2013 to 2014. So, not much of a difference.
Okay. 7 to beat, yeah?
Okay.
7 to beat.
Okay.
We're starting
Quiet, please.
now.
Darren Randolph, Dan Byrne, Kyle Bartley, David Murphy, Paul Robinson, Hayden Mullins, I think, Paul Caddis, Lee Novak, Chris Burke, Wade Elliott, Wes Thomas, Matt Green, I think, Brian Howard. Who else did we have that season? I'm really struggling. Ravel Morrison.
You're struggling. You idiot.
Ravel Morrison. Oh God, Ravel Morrison.
10 seconds.
Will Packwood.
5.
Yeah, we can
4,
name the ground staff now, please,
3,
Paul.
2, and 1. It's fair to say he's smashed you guys.
I mean,
Can we check his Google history, please, on that screen?
And Chris, can we edit this out as well?
I will say he nearly doubled your score because
Yeah,
Paul
he
got 13.
Did he get one wrong?
Whoa.
I've just thought of Makeda as well.
Craig, did he get one wrong?
Kaida, yeah.
He did get Makeda, yeah. You also missed out on Amir Hughes, Tyler
Yeah.
Blackett.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good thing to
come on.
forget about.
If you'd have come up
Why'd you
with this
forget
one,
those two?
I'd have been amazed. Alba Rushnick,
Yeah.
Who?
Oh, yeah. The little blonde kid, yeah.
Charlie Adams,
Yeah. Brett Shea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brett
Rick
Shea.
Shea, yeah.
I mean, we're so much better than that now, aren't we, than what we was then, the squad?
Yeah.
Okay,
Some of those
right.
names you
I'm
came out
going to make a new rule. I'm going to make a new rule. Paul, if you continue with this, right? You take on us every week, no matter who we've got, whatever guest, whoever's on, you take us all on every single week from now on.
Well, I think if we haven't got a guest who wants to come up against him, then maybe we should. But if we've got a
If we
guest
haven't
who
got a
wants,
guest, Chris, what we'll do is we'll accidentally forget to play.
no, we need a real brave soul who wants to take him on. I think.
He's me on.
There's nobody out there. There's no one
He's
out
our
there.
resident savant.
There's no one out there.
Paul,
There is one person. There's one person that wants to take on Paul.
Yeah.
And they were unable to tonight, but they have said,
Okay.
and I quote their words, Paul, I'll take you on anytime, any place, anywhere.
Mr. T. Mr.
That was
T.
Claire.
Francis.
Claire said that.
Mr. T. Francis, yeah.
the words.
Fighting
Bit of
talk.
fun
eh?
entertainment against Stoke, shouldn't it, on the halfway line?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
Okay, so if he can beat Paul, I will put up a great prize.
I think Claire can beat him.
I don't know. She ain't that good.
I can tell you that the person that wants to
Mark,
take
as much as I respect you, mate, I have never known a memory like his.
Who said that?
Most of it's useless information.
Yeah.
Go on, Craig.
Sam Mullet that wants to take you on, Paul. So
Sam Mullet?
We are
You
going to
zero
arrange.
chance.
We are going to arrange it. It is going to happen.
Okay.
Sam Mullet taking on the Savants.
Do you know Sam Craig? Do you know Sam Mullet?
I have exchanged messages, but I don't know him personally, but I have exchanged messages. But
Sam's been on the show, hasn't he, Chris?
He's the Birmingham City historian.
Desperate to take you on, Paul.
Liverpool, mate.
He does the stadium tours. He's full of knowledge.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, dear me.
Just at this point, and I just want to say a massive thank you to Craig Gill. Craig was massive behind arranging the prize for our Help Harry, Help Others charity push, which happened this weekend. So thank you to Craig, who arranged for the tickets and also mascot for the game on Sunday with the Birmingham ladies. I have had some messages back from the lady that attended and said, firstly, brilliant performance by the ladies, but also how much she enjoyed it with her family. So thank you, Craig, for all of your continued support. But also a shout out for everybody on the show here from Julia Goddard. So Julia was lucky enough to have the tickets that were donated by Hollywood Monster for Saturday's game. Now, it's the first time that she's been able to attend St Andrews after sadly losing her father.
Bless you.
So she thoroughly enjoyed the game, but also we arranged for a picture and message for her and her family to be on the board at half-time. So she has sent us a massive thank you message and said she shed tears of happiness on the day and her dad would have been proud. So thank you to everybody that's been involved with all these different things.
What an absolutely beautiful message, Paige. What a beautiful message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a lovely lady.
We have a great family, really. I think David would reiterate that. We have a great. We really are a true, as Anthony Rotley spoke to me the other day about it. We really are a true working class club.
What, just because Anthony Rotley's your love child?
Oh yeah. He's mine.
That's the thought I didn't want in my head this time of night.
David,
okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to get silly. It's the last 15 minutes. Mark Adams, off you go. It's the last 15 minutes. What did you suggest the other night? Off you go.
Oh, comedians.
Comedians, anything to do with comedy. Comedians
comedy.
And football. Comedians and football.
Comedians and football.
I'm going to go for
comedy.
Tommy Terry Cooper.
Tommy Terry Cooper, yeah.
I'll go for Reece Chubby Brown.
Who?
Reece Chubby Brown.
Who are you?
Lily Savage says Brett Stanley.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm just going to go with the best comedian out
Lily
there.
Savage this week, behind me, crikey.
The one that should win, and plain and simply the best comedian out there, Peter Enkelman.
Oh, yeah.
Clever. Like it. French.
He wasn't a comedy. He's not a comedian. He's a legend. He's a legend, the bloke.
Here we go.
Can we get him on one night, Craig? What a night that would be.
He is alive, isn't he?
Huh?
No, it's a private.
He probably missed the bus.
Here we go. French and Dean Saunders.
Horrible words.
Comedy, Aston Villa. Mark Brooks says Dennis Morecambe and Wise.
I like that one.
Dennis Wise, yeah. Whole utter laughs. Jack Grealish.
Yeah. Brilliant comedian, especially on his back.
Kevin Joe Hart.
Yeah.
What about Lenny Henry?
Lenny Henry.
Play on words there, but I do like it. Oh, come on, Dave. We want some of yourself, mate.
Here we go. Stephen Jimmy Carr. Tommy Terry Cooper. Gary Bob Mughouse. Joe Brandy Cole. There's a lot of Terry Tommy Coopers.
Actually, just thinking about Thierry Henry, he obviously got into the Premier League Hall of Fame, and we should probably do a Blues Hall of Fame, shouldn't we? Don't you think? Like nominate a player every week to go in the Blues Hall of Fame.
That's a good idea. A fans Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Fans Hall of Fame.
Fans Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Not nominated by us. It's got to be the people.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Maybe one player every week. What do you think? In each position, maybe in a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got enough shows left for this season, have we?
Okay,
yeah,
maybe do a five-a-side team then.
Maybe we should do two. Maybe we should do.
Let's go for Peter K. Crouch.
Two players.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 players every.
We'll start that
Go on,
next
Paul.
week. Good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm full of good ideas, man.
I know.
Yeah.
You ain't invited to the show, but we'll start it without you.
I'm just going to I'll put mine in there. Barry, Fry, and Laurie.
Oh,
Very fine, Laura. Yes.
Yeah, very clever. Very good.
Who's responsible? Who's responsible?
That one, I have one a week, and that's mine for this week.
I no longer like it.
Hang on, what about Laurel and Vardy?
Laurel and Vardy.
Oh.
What about Les Michael Dawson?
Okay, it's quite a few coming now. Gary Monkhouse.
I like that one. Yeah.
Dealey had a banter. Jack Dealey had a bowler. Peter Kay from Beld.
Belt. Yeah.
Bruce Richard Forsyth.
Think about that one.
I am no, yeah. My brain's sort of like about 3 seconds behind. Yeah. Everybody else's. Alan Bobby Ball. Joe Hart Lysett. Dick and Emery. Sacha Baron Cohen Brammel. Oh,
that's good. That is Pete Taylor. That's good.
This is a good one as well. Ali Gunner Showstar.
Ali Gunner what?
Ali Gunner Showstar.
Showstar.
Jeff Chaplin. Dilly had a bowl of comedians. Stephen Bradley Walsh. Terry Wogan.
Oh.
What about I got one. I got another one. I'm on fire here.
Oh, crikey.
What about Dealey Ali G?
Dealey Ali G, yeah.
Very good. The two Uriah Rennies.
That was very good.
Yeah, very clever.
You must have one over there, Mark. You must have one at least.
Me?
Oh.
Yeah.
Travels far.
I'm going to go for Cannon and football.
Yeah.
Huh?
Cannon and football. Yeah, I like it.
Cannon and football.
That's clever.
Yeah. You got one, Mark, no?
I'll go Bruce Richard Forsyth.
Oh, Richard Forsyth, yeah.
That's not bad.
Good game.
Well, my lads, let's make the item we're going to generate. Crew Alexander Armstrong.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the laugh.
What about the Joe Royal family?
Joe Royal family.
I do like that, Mark. I do like that. Yeah. Well done.
Jimmy Stephen Carr.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone said Dealey Ali G. Robin Williams. Yeah, I keep going. Yeah. Ronan Hale and Pace.
I've just seen Nigel Mann's The Karankis.
That's brilliant, that is.
Karankis.
Wasn't that funny, was it?
Got 10 minutes now, Chris. Can we squeeze our first Hall of Fame player in?
Come on, then. Let's go. We're going to start at goalkeeper.
Yeah. So, which goalkeeper makes it into the Tilton Talk Show Hall of Fame, stroke Birmingham City Hall of Fame?
Okay, and you've only got 10 minutes to put your vote in.
Let's obviously get everyone's thoughts on here as well. But yeah,
of course, yeah.
But obviously,
we can have an opinion, Paul, but we don't have the vote. Okay.
No.
We don't have any influence on the vote. For me,
Craig, are you all right to count the number? Like
I am watching them as they start coming
Martin
through.
Thomas for me.
Martin Thomas. Okay.
Ooh.
Have you got to sit and play?
Yeah.
Well, that's where I went and seen him play. Is my favourite.
Yeah.
Well, if it's purely
how difficult a question is this? Because our goalkeepers down the years have been superb.
I know.
I think
like Jimmy Montgomery, who you younger people won't remember.
I think it's going to be the hardest one. I think, Paul, isn't it? I think it's going to be the hardest one.
I mean, I absolutely loved Foster, Hart, Taylor.
Ian Bennett.
I think based on number of appearances, I'd have to go Benno.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Benno for me as well.
I'd say Benno. He just, encapsulated that sort of era, didn't he? He was just 10 years of just.
Hang on, think about another one though. Foster. Man of the match at Wembley.
Happy 40th birthday to him as well for today.
Who?
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster's birthday today. Right.
He's just gone to
he's come out of retirement, gone to Wrexham.
I was watching.
Good luck for that, Ben.
I was watching his video. He's put the GoPro in the goal again at Wrexham, hasn't he? And
I saw that.
Yeah.
The
so on
the
shape box, Taylor, Gil Merrick comes up a couple of times. Ian Bennett's in there. Foster's in there.
Peter Enkelman.
Peter Enkelman's appeared, We've also got Tony Coton in there. We've got Alan Miller, Dave Latchford. There's some phenomenal.
Oh, man. We interviewed Dave Latchford about 4 months ago, and that man was lovely. He was absolutely smashing. He shook my hand after the show, right? And then squeezed it, right? And I was going, sweat was coming. Yeah. And he still got it, Alan. Still got it.
Nigel Mann and just for Lindsay. Yes, Lee Camp makes the list.
Oh, right.
Lee Camp.
In the middle of a goal, Lee Camp. And that cardboard effigy of him in the main stand was just brilliant. Birmingham comedy, proper Birmingham comedy.
I don't know how to choose.
Comedy, Chris. What about Gale and Pace?
Yeah, Gale and Pace.
Gale and Pace.
I've just seen a good one.
I've seen some great ones. Ray Hobro.
Oh, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Frank Carson Young.
Oh!
Just brilliant. We've also got some Joe Hart's coming again as well, goalkeeper wise. We've got loads of messages, Dave, for yourself. Top man, lots of love. Good to see David Taylor fighting back from his recent illness. Keep right on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Auntie Linda.
Dave, who's your goalkeeper in your Hall of Fame? Would you say is your Hall of Fame?
I was going to say I've got a few I've seen. I think I started with Jim Montgomery's the first one I really remember, but Tony Coton would be my choice.
Yeah, brilliant.
But for me, even I know we said we've got to see them play. There's only one that you could put in Hall of Fame for Blues, and that's Gil.
Gil Merritt.
Yeah.
I'd struggle to pick anyone I never saw, though. You say as much of an icon and a legendary figure.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is difficult, but I think you think how long he played for us. He did a cup final, played for England, managed us when we beat them lot round the corner. You know that.
Glad you didn't use the word substantial.
Yeah, you're right.
I think because he's such a special guest, we should include Dave's vote.
Yes, I think so.
Right, but it's 5 minutes of show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have the score for Friday night, please, and then the score for Monday. Off you go.
I think. Shall I start?
Yeah, go on, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
Mark. I'm not being funny, but it seems as though you'd already started, mate. To be honest with you.
Oh, sorry. I think we'll get a draw. I think we'll get a good point at Reading. So I think it'll be quite a tricky game. So I'm going to go 1-1 at Reading, and I think we'll beat Stoke 2-1.
Great.
I'm going to go 2-0 to Blues on both of the games. Reading,
right? Okay,
Reading
Mark.
Fighting for it, got to come at us, and Stoke, I think, will be that they'll come at us, and which will make them open. That will give us our chance to have a go back. So 2-0 on both from me.
2-0 on both. Mark, there it is.
1-1 away at Reading, and then 1-0. We beat Stoke 1-0 at home.
Okay, Chris Brown.
I'm going to go for 1-0 on both games.
Okay. Paul Hipkiss.
I'll go 2-2 at Reading and 2-1 at home to Stoke.
And Dave Taylor.
Super optimistic 2-2 on Friday and 2-0 on Monday.
2-0 on Monday. Okay, I'm going to... I think we'll lose 2-1 on Friday, right? Reading away, very difficult place to go to, very difficult team. And I'll have to go with what I was talking to the Stoke fans here last night with a 2-2 draw on Monday.
Okay.
And there we are.
Okay, so
just so you're aware, we are neck and neck at this present moment between Gil Merrick and Benno in terms of
really.
What about South Park, Ji Sung?
That's a good one.
You really are on fire.
I'm on fire today, mate.
Yes. Or he's got a very souped up computer.
No, honestly.
No, he's got a 6-year-old child.
Show me his answer. That's
telling him all this.
Brett Stanley is coming with Brian Little and Large.
Oh! Yes.
Yeah.
Who was that?
That was Brett Stanley.
Brilliant, Brett. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Lily's gone for a 3-0 win at Stoke. Mark Brooks says Family Guy Whittingham.
What do you say?
Family Guy Whittingham. Dom
Yeah, I
Cavanagh's
like
gone
that one.
1-0 at Reading, 2-1 win at Stoke.
One of my favourites, Family Guy. I love it. I do. Family Guy.
Family Guy is
And-
fantastic, isn't it? Yeah, I've only just
Yeah.
got into it as well.
Yeah.
Not
Look like
something
Stewie a
I
little
really
bit.
watch for. I watch like programs on Birmingham City players through the years because I can never remember who played when.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I've finally got a comedy link.
Hang on. Dave's
Come on,
Dave's
David.
Hang on,
Hang on.
hang on.
Whoa, Dave.
Hang on.
Dave,
I've got to get the pop.
ladies and gentlemen, can we please give him a drum roller?
Here you go. Just get the popcorn ready.
Only Fools and Jeff Horsfield. There we go.
Yay!
To be honest, I'm not sure if it was worth it. Really, to be honest.
Has anyone said George Friends?
George Friends? Well done.
George Friends?
Mark, we said comedy.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mark, come on, please. Be
That wasn't a
serious.
comedy, Mark. You're sacked.
Oh, Simpsons.
You dismissed.
No.
Yeah.
You dismissed. Go on, move on.
Paul Simpson. Very good. Yeah. Paul Simpsons says Michael Woods.
I was just thinking, Paul looks a little like Stewie from Family Guy. Maybe that's why he likes it.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Now it's wrong. It's
I'm
wrong.
not even going to try to tempt the voice. Can't do it.
Go on, do it.
I can't do it, man. I can't think of anything to say either. In voice.
What about faulty Tony Towers?
Oh, right, okay.
Now you're talking comedy. That was class, wasn't it? Faulty Towers. You should love
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mark, honestly, mate, you think too hard.
What about Monty Python's The Life of Brian Clough?
Yeah.
Well, Nick, you've got
Well,
exactly
there we go.
50 seconds, Nick, to say goodbye.
Harley,
Hang on.
Mr. Bean.
Just quickly, Craig, who's won the first place in our Hall of Fame?
Can only be one person. Can only be one.
Got a big
person.
girl now,
It's
innit?
got to be a girl.
It's just gone into Gil. Literally, we've
Right,
had
okay,
two
so they
two
put it
votes
off
for Gil.
Okay.
Well, we don't have a stand named after him for no reason, do we?
No.
No. I actually have a fanfare written and ready.
Who was Railway then?
There we go.
I love that one, Pete Taylor, Blackadder Bowler.
Blackadder Bowler. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
We have a winner. I'm declaring that as the winner, Paul.
Yeah.
That's got to be the winner there. Well done.
Blackadder
Oh,
Well
I just say
Bowler.
my comedian's Ricky Villa. Can I have that one as
Ricky Villa,
comedy?
yeah.
No, you can't. You're sacked. You're dismissed
Okay.
as well. Mark.
I'll
You
tell
and
you
Mark,
what.
dismissed. Dismissed.
Ah.
Everybody has been on form tonight.
Ladies and
except
gentlemen,
Nick.
this has been the Talk Show on a Monday night. We have had a gentleman with us this evening, guys. David Taylor. What an amazing story that you've given us tonight. You are an inspiration to each and every single one of us. I promise you. Don't ever feel down, David. And if you do, contact us. We will talk. I promise you. We are here because we are family, right? That's an absolute. It's a given.
Really appreciate it.
I didn't know what to expect with you tonight, mate. And I'll be honest with you, I was thinking, you have actually blown my socks off, mate. I promise you. You've blown my socks off for that story. I'm not joking. There they are, ladies and gents.
Gents, it's been a real pleasure.
You got 23
Thanks for your
seconds
time
left.
again, sir.
David, that love that we showed you while you were in hospital in France, and that is extended forever and a day, whatever and a day. You are a legend and a hero, and I genuinely mean that, mate. Well done. And keep up all the great work that you're doing on the charity. And if you need anything from any of us or anybody that listens, reach out. Yeah?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Taylor. What a bloke. What an absolute ledge.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got to conclude the show tonight, ladies and gents, girls and boys. Our resident savant who beat six of us. 6-1. 6-1. Mate, I'm hiring you next week, I promise you. I promise you. You're going down.
We're not next week, are we?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, the
Just
one
Nick.
Mr. Paul Hickis.
Pleasure as always. Good
All
to
the
be
way
back.
from that beautiful city called Coventry with its ring road, Mark Adams.
Hey. I agree with you. To be fair, I've got to keep my voice down in case my missus hears. She's from Coventry.
No, you've got to keep the voice down in case your neighbours hear.
I know, yeah. But have a good week, everyone. Stay safe and have a lovely Easter.
My old mate Craig Courtney, God bless you.
Right, easy. Good night, everyone, and we'll say the 17th of this month we've got a great show lined up. One and only Mr. Taylor will be joining us.
Another Taylor.
Mr. Taylor, Gordon Taylor.
He's coming in to take on Paul.
Mike Taylor. which Mr. Taylor?
Gordon Taylor.
Gordon.
Oh man. You know what? I remember he was obviously in the first team that I ever went to watch at St Andrews, but then he's got into all the stuff that he does with the PFA and the Football Associations and one thing. It's going to be an absolutely mega show. Well done, Craig, for getting that man in. All the way from Texas, and my son was there last week, Mark. My son was there last week. He works for Lush. I don't know where the Lush factory is in Texas or the head office, but that's where he was last week. What a nice bloke. What a nice bloke. Chris, any nice bloke?
He's a lovely man.
He's all right, isn't he? Yeah.
Free bath bombs.
I want to have all his children.
Does he get free bath bombs from Lush?
No comment. Mark, what time is he there in
He's
Texas?
actually been providing Nick with anti-aging cream.
Yes, so I can give it out to you, not for Christmas.